Right now you're looking at Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, which is a downloadable adventure due for launch this spring. In it, two brothers go on a quest for a cure for their dying dad, and you control them both, one on each thumbstick. Each brother interacts differently with people and items, and so have to work together to master simple puzzles in their storybook-styled world. It's like a one-person co-op game. I spoke to Josef Fares, Swedish filmmaker and first-time game director, about his debut game.
You say you're a hardcore gamer. Brothers is not a hardcore game, would you call it?
No, it's not. I mean, it's very a soft, simple experience, but I think a hardcore gamer will appreciate because there's a unique touch and feeling to this game, and we have a great variety of gameplay, and I think that when you play this game, you will feel that you're playing something different. You have never played anything similar before. And for the casual gamer, I think it's going to be appealing in ways that, you know, they're going to feel it's not complicated. You only have one button per brother, so it's quite simple, and it's quite easy to control. Much more easier for a casual gamer to control this game than actual FPS, because you control this. You know, FPS you have an unsimultaneous stick control, but this is actually simultaneous, and you see what's going on instead of, like, you know, pointing up all the time to the roof when you play an FPS.
Yeah, coming at it as a filmmaker, I find it surprising that there's no dialogue exactly in the game.
Yeah,
people they speak a sort of pretend language.
Yeah.
So how come you weren't you weren't interested in making a sort of filmmaker's game with cutscenes and dialogue and
well, you know, that's actually, you know, when I came to this business, I know many people maybe thought that I would do a game like Heavy Rain or Walking Dead, or a game that's kind of like a movie. But for me, those games, I appreciate them, but it's not the game I think that will be in the future. I don't think that's the future of gaming, because I remember myself putting the settings on easy on Heavy Rain because I thought I don't want to keep pushing, because I was interested in the story and the graphics and stuff like that. On A Walking Dead, I remember having the controls on the bed and just pushing the button all the time. That's not for me. I would never give it the game of the year, but I appreciate it. It's not that, but that's not the game of the year for me. So in Brothers, going back to what we talked about, the controls, sure, the controls are unique. That's part of it, but it's also part of, like, finding the simultaneous mechanic controlling two characters, and that's something you can create new mechanics and unique mechanics that you haven't tried before. So it's not only controlling it two, and the most important part is that you feel some kind of emotional connection to them. That you feel that left hand is big brother, right hand is little brother. That is very important, you know. So the control scheme is a part of it, and also the variation of the gameplay. That's important.
Okay, it brings to mind David Cage. I don't know if you're of the same school of thought. The importance of emotion and how it's underserved in video games.
I mean, yes, I don't think we're there yet. I mean, I think it's a long time. I mean, it's okay because, you know, game developers are, you know, getting older and older. We want to, you know, make people feel something, and I know that's very important. But to be honest with you, I mean, I really hope that players will feel something when they play, and I truly believe they will. But at the same time, you know, being touched by a game doesn't necessarily have to be cry. It's not only crying that makes it. You know, when you see a beautiful ocean, you don't cry. You're just like, wow, you get, you know. And for me, a game that's touched me, the last game that did that was Super Mario Galaxy 2. Because it's such a great game with, you know, wonderful level design, a great gameplay, great variety, and fantastic graphics and everything. So I think for me, it doesn't necessarily have to be a good story for that. For me, it's like games are games and films are films. And for Brothers, it's been extremely important that the interactiveness, is that what you say? Interactiveness, yeah, that's the important, that you actually play. So my idea is like to keep the player involved and playing all the time, not to take away. We have some cutscenes here and there, but in general, they're very short. I think the longest one is like 40 seconds, 45 maybe. But that's it. The important is like to keep you in control all the time.
Okay.
And also one cool thing is that, you know, in films you have a character that starts somewhere and that grows, evolves to something else. In Brothers we have the same, but it's going to be interactive experience. So I'm very proud of that, but I can't go into details, and I want to spoil it to you.
Okay.
But play it through.
You call this like a high-risk project for Starbreeze.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how they see it?
I think so. Yeah, I think
they're trusting you on this one.
Yes, they do. I'm very happy. I'm glad I have a super team that backs me up, and they do a great job of executing everything. But I think in the way it's risky is because it's a new concept, and it's extreme variation of gameplay. You need a huge amount of content for every gameplay you have, and that creates a lot of risk in, you know, the kind of, you know, it costs money to create all of this, of course, and also that, you know, it's I don't know if they're gonna get their money back, but it's cool because they trust in the vision and they like it. And at the end of the day, I think that if you make a really great, cool product, it's more value than to have cash. No, it is.
I hope Starbreeze are watching.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we already talked about this.
Yeah,
it's no problem.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we have creative control. Nobody's interfering in anything. This is a game created from passion.
Yeah.
There's not anyone coming like, hey guys, this sells more. You have to do. No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hard on this.
How did you convince them to trust you to that degree when this is your first game? You've not made a game before.
I'm a convincing guy.